Good morning. My name's Steve, and once again, I'll be the host of today's Hangout. Joining us again for another Google Hangout covering important air quality issues is Charlie Seifer, an air filtration expert with Camfil USA, the world leader in the development and production of air filters and clean air solutions. Often in the news, we see stories about the quality of the air that we breathe outside. Perhaps even more important is indoor air quality, or IAQ, which may have an even greater impact on our health as we spend so much time indoors. So today, that's what we're going to talk about. How are you doing today, Charlie?
Good, Steve. How are you?
Excellent, excellent for a Monday. Let's get started. Charlie, what are some of the common ailments associated with poor indoor air quality?
Well, in the industry that I'm in, which is air filtration, most people think of dust, staining, and HVAC protection. But there's other reasons that people need to be concerned about the air quality. Some of the more common ones are asthma, emphysema, or COPD. COPD can come in all sorts of different forms, diseases and ailments, but we really do need to be concerned about those.
Well, and how do these ailments affect people?
Well, asthma is probably the most primary one, or the most common one. It's caused by really common dust, smaller type dust in the half a micron in size, which is about half of the size of the particle that the naked eye can see. There's dust mite and cockroach droppings. I hate to say that, but that's a very common allergen that causes asthma. Mold, which is common, unfortunately, in a lot of residences and a lot of buildings. And even some airborne chemicals. They're commonly known as volatile organic compounds. It's a tongue twister for a Monday, or VOCs. The symptoms include, they can be debilitating. They include wheezing, coughing, chest tightness, and even shortness of breath. Another one that we have to worry about is emphysema. And emphysema is basically a disease in where the air sacs in the lungs become damaged, and typically it's caused by smoking, air pollution, or even manufacturing fumes. People that have emphysema, have these air pockets that are on their lungs that basically can develop holes in them, and it decreases the amount of surface area that's in contact with the air moving through your lungs that actually exchanges oxygen with the blood. So it makes it very difficult for these people to breathe. Oh, I'm sorry, Steve, I forgot one more. Yeah. COPD, which is a form of that, is chronic bronchitis. And that's the one where people have a hard time catching their breath. They got chest tightness. They may have a chronic cough with a lot of mucus. And typically it's caused by smoking, secondhand smoke, and common air pollution. So if anybody has any of these type of diseases, they can be debilitating. And the American Lung Association has this wonderful ad where they show a fish out of water. That's what these people feel like when they're put into those pollution-type situations and they have one of these maladies.
Yeah, even if you don't have COPD, chronic obstruction pulmonary disease, or emphysema, or asthma, I imagine even with some of the common ailments, it's going to affect productivity at work, at home. It's going to have a major impact on your life, even if you don't have a chronic illness.
And one of the other problems that we have is all three of these problems are increasing. So it's probably indicative of the air quality that we're subjecting ourselves to. We like to think that everything's getting cleaner, but in reality, the smaller particles are becoming more and more of a problem, and those are the ones that get down deep into the lungs and cause problems, if not short-term, then long-term.
That's amazing. Are there any other health concerns related to air quality that we have to be concerned about?
Well, there's probably three segments of the population that we should always be concerned about. Children under 14, their bodies are developing, specifically their lungs, and they have a very high metabolism, so they can breathe 3 to 4 times the amount of air that an adult can, just because of the nature of what they're doing and their growth spurts and so on. So we have to be concerned about them, and especially because there's a higher incidence of asthma in younger children now than there ever was before, probably really related to the amount of chemicals that we have in the air. We have to be worried about pregnant women. Typically that woman's breathing for 2, and it's kind of an old adage, but it really kind of holds true. there's a lot of concern lately because there's a higher incidences of autism with pregnant women that are in areas of high pollution. So it's a recent matter of concern that we've got to find a solution for. And then, of course, there's the elderly. And as you get older, your lung function actually decreases. It's one of the reasons our metabolism slows down. We have to be worried about the elderly, and unfortunately also is they are much more susceptible to things like pneumonia and some of the other things that cause health problems for them.
Right, and as you mentioned before, all of these pollutants and the bad indoor air quality makes those conditions even worse when you have them. So it's really critical. What can be done to protect these people?
Well, it's one of the reasons that I enjoy being in the air filtration industry. Some of the places that I like to work with are schools, okay, because it protects the children there, and we work in a lot of nursing homes and, of course, hospitals. Really, for the most part, the three problems that I mentioned earlier are relatively easily taken care of. As an example, a MERV 8 filter, or what you would look at as a standard plated filter, very easily takes care of those common dusts, those dust mites and cockroach droppings that I was talking about, the mold. MERV 8 filter easily takes care of those. In the office environment, typically we apply a MERV 13 filter, and that filter is excellent at removing some of the other things, even down to the level of tobacco smoke, or as in one article I was reading last week, maybe even marijuana smoke or something along those lines. The other thing that people should consider when selecting filters to remove the contaminants that are associated with these health problems is that the filter maintains its efficiency. So when you're purchasing a filter or ordering filters for a commercial building, make sure that the MERV A of the filter matches the original MERV. So if a filter has a value of MERV 13, it should also have a value of MERV 13A. That designates that that filter will maintain its efficiency over the life of the filter, and that's a test under a standard that's published by the American Society of Heating and Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Engineers.
That's a really important piece of information that I certainly didn't know, and I think is important for everybody to know, more than just the initial quality. What's it going to do for you down the road? Where can they find more information like that?
Well, Camfil publishes a lot of information on their website. All of our websites can be reached by any of three different methods. One is relatively simple, catalog.camfil.us. You can also get to the same areas by going to camfil.us or camfil.com, and we'd love to see the activity there as people learn more about air quality.
Excellent. Thanks so much for your time today. We look forward to our next hangout when we cover some more important air quality and air filtration issues. Thanks, Charlie.
You have a good day, Steve, and good health to you.
You too. Be well.